So one of my friends ran the marathon. She actually did really, really well. First marathon, under 4 hours, amazing. And one of her fans or cousins came to watch her run the marathon as well. And I spoke to her after, and she studied geography, and she was transitioning from geography to quantity surveying. So she's actually in the middle of her master's degree at the moment in quantity surveying. And she was saying she enjoys it a lot, she's getting a lot of support at work. And then it came to my mind, and I thought, what advice really helps me, and what advice do I think could help her? And there's one thing I said to her, which I think it's fantastic, and I wanted you guys to know as well. It's in 5 years' time, right? This is what I told her. In 5 years' time, if you're gonna run a project completely yourself, you have no choice. In 5 years' time, the clock starts now. You're gonna run a project completely by yourself. What would you do knowing that in 5 years' time, you're gonna run a project? And I told her, I bet you, you will change the way you do a lot of things. You'll be way more focused. You'll listen a lot more. You'll take a lot more notes. You'll ask a lot more questions, and you'll maximize everything inside of your day. So you'll see your day as a learning platform instead of something that you just have to go to or you have to do. Your day will be something which you'll see as a progression path, knowing that you need to know this, that next week you should have already covered this, and then in 2 weeks' time you should have covered this, so you can move progressively on. You'd also be looking at someone who's 5 years ahead of you, someone who's already running projects, and you'll see what they're doing and how they're operating, right? And you'll ask them questions, you'll get to know them, you'll be friends with them. So everything in your day will be completely focused very differently. And that is something, if you're thinking you're in a career at the moment, or you're a quantity surveyor or construction professional, building surveyor, project manager, architect, whoever you are, and you're thinking you don't have that sense of urgency, or you don't feel like you're learning as fast as you wanted to learn, this is absolutely massive. And I think it will, just that perspective shift will change a lot of the way you do a lot of things. So take it on board, see how you think. And the way I'm doing things in my life is I'm asking a lot more questions like this, because questions are the answers. And I didn't understand this because I've heard a lot of successful people talk about questions being the answers, but I've never actually understood what they were talking about. And I'm starting to understand that the better questions you ask, the better answers you can generate for yourself, right? And there's a question that I'm asking in my life at the moment. How can I make a 10-year plan or a 10-year goal? How can I accomplish that in 6 months? Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I've planted the seed in my head, and I'm trying to see what I can come up with to think about how can I make 10 years of work if I'd done it the normal way. How can I condense that down into 6 months, right? And it's a question that Peter Thiel, who's one of the world's best investors anyway, I think he wrote this book called 0 to 1, and he was part of the PayPal mafia, and he was one of the investors in PayPal. And he asked this question, and I got it from Peter Thiel. And most people will think when you answer that question, you're trying to think about how you can condense, your whole day and make sure every hour or every minute of your day is maximized so that in 6 months' time you've done a lot of work. But not necessarily the case. And I've learned that it's more about direction rather than speed. So when we think about speed, we're thinking about exactly what I said. Everyone's thinking 10 years of work in 6 months, meaning that you've got to work really fast in the day and you've got to cram as much as possible in your day. But actually, that's not the way that he was referring to when he thought about this question. He was talking about direction. So if there's two different people, one's planned their life a lot more and knows where they're going, for example, asking that question that I've just asked you, in 5 years, you're going to be running a project. If you know that, right, you're going to be doing things very different. Your direction's going to be very different. You're going to be asking for help. Whereas if the other person's doing it unplanned, they're going to go down this route and it's going to take them a lot longer. So direction can cut a lot of time. And that's where the questions come in. When you answer good questions, you get better answers. And the main thing is you gain clarity, right? And clarity is super important. It's something that I've, again, realized in my life as well. And by asking these right questions, you can gain clarity by giving answers. And a practice that you can do in your day-to-day life is journaling. So write down the answer to that question and do it again consecutively over time. Every month, ask the same question. You'll start picking up different signals from the world on how to get to places faster. That's just something that I've been doing and I thought it'd help you, but really important for quantity surveyors, project managers, building surveyors, construction professionals, that if you are in your career right now and you want to progress faster and you want to be better at what you're doing, a very simple hack and a very simple trick, and it's a perspective shift, is ask yourself in 5 years, if you were going to run a project and knowing that you had to run the project, what would you do today different? And how would you live out your day and your career? Have a think about that.